Can you elaborate on Governor Pataki and what his part he played with the New York prison systems when you was there?
In 1995, this dude, Governor Pataki, won the governor's race and became the governor. And he implemented a rule to try to combat the violence in the state New York prison system. So he started implementing things. He started taking brothers off of work release. Slick Rick was one of them. He took Slick Rick, the rapper Slick Rick, off of work release in '95 and put him back in lockup. He built prison systems, and he built the 5-Point Correctional Facility. Then he built these other facilities to try to combat the violence. And then when he did that, the violence was already down, so it was a money scheme. I think it was about $10 million, and it all went to waste because he filled a 1,500 capacity prison system with all nonviolent inmates. All the inmates was in there for drug crimes, so he single-handedly spearheaded the biggest scam in New York to build a multi-million-dollar prison system. And the prison system was to serve the violent prisoners of the state of New York. And in fact, when crime was down already 25% in the penitentiary. So the money that was spent there was misappropriated.
What prisoners was he responsible for building?
The 5-Point Correctional Facility. It's going up towards northern New York, between central and northern New York.
Okay, you mentioned something about Jimmy Henchman.
Yeah, I knew him, the henchman, but I knew him as Jimmy Ace. Jimmy Ace, we was on the island in '84. That was one of the first experiences I seen with a brother get into another brother fight on a visit area. And this was in '84. He got into the fight with Rat. It was an ongoing drama beef with Rat. And him and Rat had beef, and on the visit there was some chairs thrown, and his father got hit with the chair and got hurt and all of that on the visit. Well, one of the beefs extended that it was real on Rikers Island. This extended on Rikers Island. And I know him as Jimmy Yates, man, so, you know, he was in full upper with me, man, so shout out to Henchman, man.
Soul B. You mentioned you were...
Yeah, another one with him, yeah, General.
Stacy.
Yeah, he's a General, Stacy. I know him from Stacy. We was on Rikers Island together in '84, full upper, and everything like that. Yeah, and then he got with the guard body. He always was with the guard body movement, and that was B Original. And everybody called him B.O. Then when he came together with this thing here, man, with this brotherhood thing, and then he became Soul B. But he's always been a warrior and a militant in this game, and then he's also was part of the blood thing where he spearheaded. He was a general in the game, but like I said, one general alone with the right idea and the right plan still wasn't enough to change the complexity of the movement that this thing was going in, man. But if they had more brothers like him in there in this game, man, but to start with, it never would have went to the left that it went, man. Shout out to Soul B, man.
And where was you at with Soul B?
Oh, we was in Rikers Island. We was in Sing Sing together in '92. We was in the 4 building in '84. We was in Sing Sing in 1992. And yeah, I was there when he came back, man. He had caught the 12.5 years and shit. He came back in '92. I remember him from there. And then, you know, he got with this movement. And in the course of that movement, he spent a lot of time in SHU, man. He was in the port with us and everything. So he know the deal. He know how it went, man. He had to put his rounds in. He put that work in, man. Him and the mentors and them dudes was going against 5-0. So he definitely got my respect, man. You know, a lot of those brothers, man, was banging on each other, man. Them dudes, him and a few other dudes from the mentor, Lion, shout out to Lion and them dudes was putting in work on 5-0, man. They stood up for the cause, man.
Corey King.
Yeah, met him, man. He was in Clinton with us and everything. Like I say, another brother, man, that rose up in those ranks and became a floor general and leader spent a lot of time in SHU, not a lot of time in population, man, where his presence would have really been felt. But he did a lot of time. I heard a lot of good things about him, a lot of leader qualities and all of that. But like I said, man, the first generation, man, he wasn't there, man. I was there with those brothers. Soul B was there, or Iz was there. It was a lot of dudes was there, man. Shaquell was there, Deadeye was there. A bunch of good brothers, man, in this game, man. They set the trend and set the motive for this to go in the right direction. It went left because there was no guidance whenever it left Rikers Island and it went up to the state penitentiary system. So it was a lot of leaders and not enough followers, man. But then the followers, man, started to take on a life of their own, and the game just got twisted. It was nothing that Soul B could do. It was nothing that none of the brothers could do. It was a lot of mutiny. It was a lot of treason. There was a lot of things going on. There was a lot of brothers allowing E. Ricketts to come home under the blood flag, man, and infiltrate us and everything like that. I was there, man. I was in the box, man. Shout out to Ty Guns. That was the big homie for the Stone Hood. The big homie, Ty Guns. Shout him out, man. When he left, man, they came and took him to the feds. It was all over with it, man. It started being hood this, hood that, hood that. It got out of control, man. There was no bringing us back, man.
And that's in reference to the Blood Nation gang, right?
Right.
The Blood gang.
Yeah, I can name off all the hoods, man. And it started with GKB, and it went on to Valentine, and it went on and on BSV, the Bloodstone Building, the original 21 hoods. I know about the whole 9 yards, man. They got separated when this dude became big homie, and then the brothers split. They started some New York Bloods, NYBB stuff, and then they went different ways, man. And from there, the Brims, they had their brothers, man. Shout out to Lacey, shout out to Pee Wee. Those the big homies, man, for Brim. The big homies, Eli. The big homies that I know, man. You know, and it was a beautiful movement, beautiful thing. But then it just went left.
Mel Cross
was in Auburn with him, man. Good brother, leader, strong brother in the game, man. Still, not enough Mel Crosses in that game, man, to change the complexity of the way, the direction it went. You know.
And what year was you in Auburn?
We're in 95.
Okay. With Mel Cross, correct?
Yeah. C Block.
I'm Tony Montana from Brooklyn, correct?
Yeah. I was down to Sing Sing with him in 94, man. He's a good brother, man. But, yo, you know, anything goes with him, man. You know how he was on it, man.
How about Mano?
Never really got to meet him, man. He had some beef with my man Barr, man. My man Barr was the one that cut him, man, in the face and all of that, man. They had some type of gripe with the specialty and all of that, man. They went at it like that. But I never really met the brother Mano, man. But Barr, my man, that was my man, you know. There's a lot of other dudes, man, in the game that need to be mentioned and so on, man. Like I say, man, I got mad respect for Black O'Macko, man. Black O'Macko, man, was a GK big homie, man. And he still didn't get the credit. Dizzy, I like to shout my man Dizzy out from 1-8 Trey, man. I know how they campaigned on you, man, and took that hood from you, man. You always gonna be motherland, man, with this thing, man. It's going down in history, big homie. Yeah, it's a lot of you brothers, man. Elevator Brim, man. You know what I'm saying? La Brim. It's a lot of the Brims that I knew, man, that was really big homies, good homies, man. And I done banged with, man, had the chance to live with them, man, learn those rules and regulations, man, know the history of T. Rogers, man, know the history of Bobby Lavender, man, know the history, man, of how we all started and how we all came together, man. But under these circumstances, man, the thing fell to, man, it's like anything goes now, man. So once was a beautiful thing to look upon for black, man, especially in the penitentiary, because the state system was strictly ran and strictly motivated and ran by the Latinos, man. And if you didn't roll with it, you usually got rolled over. It was one of the reasons why they formulated the blood. The Omar Panther, he put together this thing, man, because it was a unity for blacks, man, because it was tired of blacks getting rolled on and getting stomped on and pushed on behind these Latinos, man, that was coming over here. Little did they know these Indians was following the same 5 points on the flag that the Bloods was following, man. They might have different principles, but it still was under the 5. For under no circumstances they were supposed to bang on each other and all of that. That was a foul against the whole game. That's supposed to be unforgiving. D Wiz, man, Fort Greene, Ricky Richardson, man. Shout out to my big homie, man. Rum, Rumbles and all of y'all, man. Shout out to all of y'all brothers, man. Y'all already know who you is. J-Rock, Killer Keith, man. Ain't nothing but love for y'all, man. This is all Brooklyn, man. These dudes, man, was in here with me, man. Daddy O and all of these dudes, and Hickey Dude and Nils and all of them was in there with me, man, whenever it was real rough, man. They held a cat like me, Bronx down, man. So I ended up banging out with Brooklyn dudes, man. Got my name up, got my respect and all of that, man. They know about Uptown, man. They knew Uptown was one of the real right dudes that was up in there, man. But shout out to Majesty, shout out to Little John, shout out to the big dudes, man. They knew who they were, man. When we was banging, man, when we had our backs up against the wall, man, when we was going through them wars and riots in Comstock in 1990, when we was banging out in Elmira in the yard against them Latinos in 1988 and 89. And they went to Southport with us, man, held us down, man. There's a lot of them brothers, man, out of Brooklyn, Rick Martin and all of those dudes from East New York, man. They know who we was, man. We did it together, man. Ain't nothing but love for y'all. I know y'all dudes out there, man, in stereo, man. And check out this real right being told, man, because a lot of the record got to get straight, man. It wasn't as sweet as a lot of dudes talking about. Everybody wasn't no gangster up behind these walls. You know and I know. If you was there, you know I know who you was, man. So it's the only thing we gonna do is keep it 100 on this shit and let them know that, yo, it was real brothers did real things. There's some that deserve to be salute. There's brothers that deserve their flowers, man. They locked down in there forever. Can't never get out, man. Some of them dudes never even committed these crimes. They're just true soldiers to the game. They down for the cause, man.
Two things before we close out this one. Number one, prison hustling. What are the hustles you've seen in prison for people to survive there, or rather they're sending the money home, or like what are some of the primary prison
I was guilty.
hustles?
I was found guilty and charged with infractions for participating in a few prison hustles and everything like that. Well, money to us in the prison system come by way of stamps, cigarettes, or cash money. These was instruments that was used to survive. A lot of us maintain this because you empower resources. The resources was either marijuana, heroin, or however it is you came about getting it. You pumped it into there and you made a tremendous amount of profit off of it, man, because it's nothing like the penitentiary money from outside money. Fractions of that makes a multitudes of money. So now you stuck with 500-600 packs of cigarettes, 3,000-4,000 stamps, stuff like that, $800-900 cash. What you got to do? You got to get rid of it. You got to send it home. 5-0 catch you, run down on you in your cell, and you got all of this stuff. You're not only going to the box, but it's going to be confiscated. So a lot of us found ways, clever ways, how to get it out of there. Those is one of the few of the many hustles that was going on in the penitentiary to take care of yourself. Or you do straighten up and fly right, man, and get in the industry because they paying top dollar. So the object was to take care of yourself on commissary day, be able to spend a 55, which is a full buy, instead of local money that they giving you, state money, which is $6 or $7. That ain't no way to live. So being a porter, sweeping and up and down the gallery and all of that, that ain't no money, no package, no visit, no nothing. That's living like a bum. The real straight and narrow dudes had an education, got their GED, and they had an education, and they went into the industry. Did hard work, man, for the industry, made sewer caps, made license plates, made things like that, got money, and their accounts, they was able to send money home to their loved ones and all of that. Others straddle the fence, because you can't serve two guards. So you're going to pump something, you're going to get resources, get your hands on marijuana, get your hands on whatever it is you need, because someone out there definitely is going to want and they're going to pay for it, and it just moves, sweep and flow just like that. The guards know it, the administration know it, there's nothing they can do to stop it, so they just allow it to go down until it becomes a problem. And then when it becomes a problem, then they go get the source, because it's a community within a community. So basically they know everything that's going on.
What do different people do for the hustle? Sell liquor, sell cigarettes?
Yeah,
drugs?
you got the bootlegger dudes, man. They the master dudes, man. They make some masterful, craftful stuff, man, out of some potatoes and some rice, and put them in these, seal them in these bags and everything. They'll make some stuff, man, that they don't even sell in the liquor stores out here, man.
What else?
They calling that hooch, you know what I'm saying? There's another word for liquor or whatever the case is. And then there's weed, and then, you know, they started moving pills. And everything moved in there, man. Everything moved in the penitentiary, man, because the garbage heads is in there. It's just they coming from out there in society into the penitentiary. So this is what you're gonna do. It's a product of the environment.
How do they pay for the drugs from inside the wall?
They can pay for it, man, by way of a disbursement form with the involving administration, knowing where you're moving your funds from out of your account. Or they can pay for it in cigarettes, which is another name for money. Or they can pay for it in stamps, which is another name for money. Or they can actually, you know what I'm saying, have other people, man, go to make commissary purchases for you, send packages in your name, send money orders in your name, a street-to-street type of thing where you inform your people on the outside, and this is my name and number and all of that, and for your people is instructed to send me X amount of dollars, and then it come in by way of mail, and no one's questioning. Administration is like, oh, okay, he got $200, so what? And now you have money and all of that. So you know you provide a service, and the people provide the service back to you.
Without going into any details, is there prostitution for drugs in jail amongst the men? Without going into details, it's more of a yes and no. There is.
Men are being pursued. Men are being sexed. Things is going on like that frequently, regularly.
Are they trading drugs for like how they?
Yeah, it's a lot of mind manipulating game. There's a lot of older dudes playing on the younger dudes. So it's all thing, man. So nowadays, man, we in 2022. You know, we can't really speak bad on about that, man. That's showing preference. Not a good look in the penitentiary to be running around being sexed by a man, man. Not when the prison system stands for manhood. So if you're going against that, then you know you might as well be a girl. However, that's what go on. I seen a lot of it. I witnessed a lot of it. I stopped a few incidents from older dudes prying. That double bunk was one of the situations that got me SHU for a long time, man. Tired of seeing a brother in 2009 with a 1982 number wanting to double bunk with a brother that just came to the penitentiary with a 2008 number. Now, they're not related. They have nothing in common. But only thing it is this dude is a vicious predator. And he's been in the penitentiary for half his life. And this 2008 brother that came in is starting to look attractive to him. And it's starting to look, you know, enticing to him. And so he do things to get in the cell with him. And I broke up a few times. You got a brother that's in the penitentiary, and he's been down. He has a 1982 number. And now you have a brother, this is the year 2009. Now you have a brother to come in with a 2008 number. Now all of a sudden this brother with the 1982 number is requesting a double bunk with this brother from the 2008 number. They have nothing in common. They're not related. They're not siblings. They know no one, anything. It's the homotendenalities, and it's the slick way, the sly way of game. This is what a greasy, foul animal will do. And now I broke up a few times with the brothers trying to take advantage of the younger brothers. Yeah, it gets vicious. At times we have to get dirty. We have to stab these dudes up and then get them out of here. We call them booty bandits. They know who they are. They lasted for a while. A lot of them are dead. However, but we had to break up those ranks, man, because we didn't stand for that, man. But knowing your science and knowing who you are and knowing, you know, your math and all that, you know that we was totally against homosexuality, you know what I'm saying? Now, even though now, 2022, they saying that it's a freedom to be that way and all of that. But in the penitentiary, man, it was a whole different scenario, man. You couldn't afford to be down with nothing like that, man. Your manhood is all you had in there. And if you gave that up, man, then you was nothing to nobody. You was broken.
Last thing, you mentioned something about prison food companies. Care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, Sykes-Picot Prison Food Company, multi-million-dollar company. Corecraft is a company that's manufactured for prison hard labor for guys like us that went into these industries. Sykes-Picot and all of that, the quick chill program where they making food, pre-cooking food, storing it in these freezer bags and making them by the thousands and shipping them off to these industries, and people are eating them in the hospitals and in all of these industries all over New York City and New York State. We produce that and we put those together, we manufacture that, assemble that, and ship those out, man, all at slave wage pays, because most of the dudes was getting 80 cents a day, some getting 90 cents a day. This was industry pay though. That and Corecraft. Corecraft is making clothes from footwear to workwear to sheetwear to bedding to lining to linen to soapwear to fabric soapener soaps and all types of stuff, man. All being manufactured out of Great Metals, Comstock, New York. And it's making multi-million dollars. If you look them up now, the Corecraft industry generates over $1 million a year in net profits and everything. And this is work that's being made at the hands of prisoners in the state penitentiary system. There's various other industries such as Auburn. They producing license plates for the state of New York. If you survive a good disciplinary record and all that, you can get into the industry, which is called the print shop. The print shop is making license plates for the state of New York, man, and it's all legal, man, at the hands of an inmate, at a prisoner, and Great Metals at Auburn Correctional Facility. And you can actually make that and earn a few bucks an hour or whatever the case is, but that being manufactured there. Also, Clinton Correctional Facility. They're making garments, they're making clothes, they're making winter work clothes, they're making clothes and everything like this. Corecraft, it's another industry in Clinton Correctional Facility called the sewing shop. They're making Corecraft underwear, socks, t-shirts, and everything is being shipped out at a daily rate, man. They're making $1 million a year at the hands of a prisoner and Clinton Correctional Facility. There are various other facilities in the state of New York that are making things. Elmira Correctional Facility has something called the Foundry. The Foundry are producing manhole covers, the covers in the street that goes down into the sewer wells and stuff like that. They're making those. They're making fire hydrant caps. They're making fire hydrant tops and bottoms for city streets in New York State and the tri-state area in New York City. It's called the Foundry. The Foundry industry is a very dirty, hazardous job. They're paying a few extra dollars than the average person in the end. Once again, you have to have a virtually clean disciplinary record, and you make it into the Foundry, and you earn decent money. F Block in Elmira. F Block is another industry. This is an industry where you provide with the funds where you can go to college. And then there's another industry in there where you can work on a farm. You can actually get up in the morning and be transferred right outside the facility limits. With keep in mind the maximum facility, your classification is low enough, you're not a security risk, and you go and do farm work for the day. You'll be paid a salary that's pretty much a little bit more, maybe double than what the average inmate pay is, but you earn a whole lot of money being a farm person. That's Elmira Correctional Facility.
Any more correctional facilities with industries that you could think of?
Yeah, Green Haven Correctional Facility is another industry thing down there where it's a big industry where they're producing clothes and they're producing tables and they're producing furniture and office equipment for a broad state, New York State, Green Haven Correctional Facility. Once again, you only selected to work in these certain places because these certain places is only catering to a certain criteria of a prisoner who has a virtually squeaky clean record, who hasn't been sought for any violence, who hasn't been sought for any bail jumping, who hasn't been sought for any outstanding warrant penalties or fines. These are the type of inmate and criteria that's accepted in these type of programs for these type of industries. And then you have the mediums. The medium facilities have a bunch of industries also. They having these farms where they have these pasturies where they producing hundreds of thousands of gallons of milk every day from a facility that's funding a whole city at large with the production of milk, and with production of bread, and with the production of other Corecraft stuff that's coming in, cook chill and stuff like that. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and what I'm saying is that the prisoners of the state of New York are in there earning what they consider decent money because they have no families, they get no visits, they get no packages. So to work in one of these industries is almost like a gift in disguise. So you do a virtually well job and you be handsomely taken care of under prison standards. But outside of that, it's purely slave wages, and they're getting away with a bunch of overhead, and they're making billions and millions of dollars in profit, all at the hand and the blood, sweat, and tears of a prisoner who given up his right to society by being a ward of the state of New York. That pretty much sums it up. We're gonna go down the road of memory things, man, and we're gonna discover a lot of other things that wasn't touched on these topics dealing with the penal system.
Yeah.
Like I say once again, man, I've unfortunately dedicated 25 years of my life to the penitentiary. Right now, I'm currently a union worker, man. I'm earning a very handsome salary yearly, man. I haven't been in problems with the law in over 10 years. I'm successfully home in 11 years now, and it's gonna be more to come. In New York State of time, brother. And out there, man, it's a whole different life, man. But don't forget, man, I was there. I endured the life.